Hey, this is Mac. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. I am here with the Bentley Bentayga, which is this season's Prestige Cup car. This is not the only Bentley in the game. There's actually a few already. If you look at it, there's the GT3R, the Bentley Continental Speed, Bentley Continental GT, which is one of the milestone cars. This was a very old PC car right here. This was a Golden Cup car, if I recall correctly. I know it was a Cup car at some point and was at one point a rare car, but after that Cup, more people had it. So if you're a veteran player, you probably have enough Bentleys, including the Fast and Furious one, that you won't need to really have a specific way to beat Supply Cup easily, because any one of those cars can be tuned to do it. I am going to focus today on the Bentayga, since we're using this for PC Cup this season and Supply Cup this season, as far as getting first through the Supply Cups. Then we'll talk about Stage 6 effects with full fusion. Right now I have the car set up with Stage 5 right here, Stage 5 only with no fusions. And we're going to talk about the Supply Cup tune without fusions. Then I'll add fusions and I'll show you the tune again. It works the same way, so it's really getting the concept, not necessarily always following my exact tune. The concept here is that, again, this car does have an Evo drop tunability, which means that it can easily beat Dyno by a substantial amount. I have it at 2.0, 30, and 4.0. You can probably tweak the Nitrous to get some more right there. More aggressive Nitrous can get you a little bit faster time, but of course your Nitrous timing is going to have to be dead on for it to get the benefit of the faster time from the more aggressive Nitrous. Now 2.8 seems to give us the best. The Dyno says 9.125 in the quarter mile, 14.6 in the half. Now we're not concerned with the half for Supply Cup as much because it's mostly quarter miles. How hard is it to hit that? Well, first let's do a run at max evo, and I always tune first to max evo so I can kind of tweak it from there to where I need it to beat Dyno, because I need to know what the max theoretical Dyno is based on the upgrades first. So that's always the initial step. You tune to the max evo that you can based on your upgrades and your fusions, and then we can tune it to see if we can change the Dyno and beat the target time. Alright. Okay, here we go. Let's take a quick run. I'm going to go ahead and launch perfect and then use Nitrous after the tire spins a little bit, and second gear, see where it lands us. It's not going to get out of fourth. 9.195 on what is theoretically a 9.125 dyno means you're a few hundreds off. This will get you halfway through the Supply Cup without much of an issue, because beginning the Supply Cup, the cars run a bit slower than your dyno anyway. They usually run like 9.4, 9.5 to your 9.1 dyno. By the end of the Supply Cup, they'll come pretty close, maybe 9.2s. So if you're consistently driving 9.15, 9.16, or even 9.13s, you will be fine. You don't really need a Supply Cup tune per se. But let's say you have a slow device, you're struggling a bit, and you just want to get through the Supply Cup's 25 runs without a headache. Here's the trick to getting this. Again, the Evo must change, but the car must still be able to do what it is supposed to be able to do with full Evo. That's what a dyno beating tune really comes down to, is that the dyno says slower, but the car performance-wise says I can still do it, and you can still duplicate the good runs even though your dyno shows a slower time. That is a computer-recognized dyno beating tune, and that's what we're always shooting for. If you show a slower time and your car runs slower, that's not a dyno beating tune, and nor is that going to be all that beneficial to you in live, because everybody is still going to be essentially matchmaked to your actual dyno, and you're not really beating it, so it doesn't make things easier. Alright, with this car, because of the grip situation, again, your final drive is already at 2.0. You're not going to get any lower on the final drive, so the only thing that's going to get lower is the grip. Stronger grip, lower acceleration, and then you watch the Evo drop. Now this starts to happen pretty quick, because once you're off optimal tune, you're going to start seeing a drop. What you don't want to see or don't care about are these steady drops, because steady drop just means it's dropping because your tune's off now. When you see this kind of a drop, which I call a cliff drop, where it's a 1-point click and you get this huge drop, that is a recognized cliff drop by the dyno. So now we're going to run this car again, and let's see. Dyno says 9.975. Can we still do around 9.2? That's going to be the question, right? Let's launch it and see what happens. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at this. So again, I am not trying any fancy techniques with the nitrous or the shifts. Well, hello there. It ran a little better than when I had the best tune. How about that? So maybe this is the way to go to get a good time. Who knows? Probably not once you have fusions and you're maxed out. This is just something that happened because this tune, I guess where I launched it versus where I shifted, happened to work a little better than when I had max evo tune. Notice the 0 to 60 is a little faster, so something along the way here, that little extra grip helped out. Now, the extra grip actually does help out with the quarter mile anyway. The best quarter mile time isn't necessarily going to be your best half mile time. So keep that in mind as you go into this. But here, right there is your dyno buster for the supply cup. 9.9 second, almost 10 second dyno, which means your opponents will be running 10.2 to 10.3s to start, maybe even 10.4s, and you're running 9.1s. So you're good to go. Now, let's put some fusions in and let's revisit the tune, because fusions and upgrades will change things. I am not going to just put 1 or 2 fusions in. I'm going to go ahead and put most of them in. Maybe I'll leave the epic ones out first. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll take a look at stage 6 effects with full fusions. All right, let's go ahead and put that in. I'm not going to make you watch me put it in. I'll be right back with a fusioned Bentley, and we'll revisit the tune. All right, and we're back with the fusions installed except for epics. Now, this is a tier 4 car. Now, I did install the epics in stage 6s. I'm talking about stage 5 only without epics. So you'll see that I've installed pretty much everything in up to stage 5, rare, uncommon, rare, no epics. There are really not that many epic fusions for tier 4 cars up to stage 5. If you really look at it, you got 1 or 2 for the body, 1 for the body, no, 1 for the trans here. Oops, looks like I missed the, oh, I didn't, okay, I'll put that in later. You have the 2, 3, I think it's 2 of them here for turbo, and then you have 1 or 2 for the intake. So they're not that many. Let's take a look at the time here. So here, those uncommon rare fusions drop the time from 14.6 to a 13.9. So you dropped a decent amount of time with those fusions, but really this is a very slow car. If you're adding all the uncommon and rare fusions and you're still, you know, touching 14, it's just not going to be a very fast car no matter what. Either that or the stage 6s have huge effects, and we're going to look at a 12.9 by the end of this or 12.8 by the end of this. I just don't think this is going to be a quick car either way. Now, by adding fusions, you're bumping up evo. So therefore, the evo max evo points has gone up quite a bit. And this is again something important I mentioned in almost all my videos about tuning, is that you need fusions to have margin of tuning, because now you have changes in your evo that ranges almost as much as the changes from having the complete tune difference when you don't have fusions. So you definitely need fusions, and fusions give you time. Never ignore fusions when you have a car. Always add them whenever you have them. But of course, cars like Bentley, you just can't get fusions easily unless it dropped from either a crate or an event or something, or you're stripping them. Okay, now, can we still duplicate the same effects of the cliff drop as we did before? Probably yes still, because there's enough grip here to pull this off. Again, because you're already at 2.0, you're not going to be able to get a huge difference on this end. You're stuck. You're done here. 2.0 is the lowest you can go. Then if the grip hits 0 and you still don't have a cliff drop, you're not getting a cliff drop. At that point, there is no cliff drop tune for this car anymore. The grip versus power has reached its peak points where it's just not going to give it to you. However, that leads to its own discussion, which I'll discuss another time. But there are ways to make that happen. Regardless, you probably have to drop some part levels to make it happen. So that's its own tuning technique. Now, as far as this, as I just showed you before I started getting off course here with the discussion, here's your cliff drop. Boom. All right, that's a big one too. It's like a 500 Evo drop. Now, with that 500 drop, you're showing a time difference of 8.6 to 9.6, a full second. Again, with this drop, you should be able to still run 8.6, and we're going to go ahead and test that again. Okay, here we go. Let's test this. Again, I'm going to launch it just a little bit off of perfect. Oops. All right, that killed it. But Nitrous right away may still salvage it. I still think I should be able to get a little under a 9.6, 9.1 with a 0 RPM drop. Now, 0 RPM drop is a byproduct of having too much grip, right? You have the grip here. This is why the computer says you're going to get this time, because you're going to get a crappy launch and you're going to drive really poorly and you're not going to get your time. That's why it tells you it believes you can only do a 9.6. But it's actually not all that bad. Let's take a look. I'm just going to launch early, like this. And I can still run it normal otherwise. So you just cannot do too close to a perfect launch when you have this kind of a tune. There it is, 8.706. Now, Dyno, 9.6, 8.7, but theoretically you're supposed to be able to do 8.666. Okay, 706, 666, not too far off. So there it is. That's your basically Dyno Buster tune for the supply cup, which allow you to matchmake to slower opponents. Now, I get a lot of people that says, well, I follow your tune, I got to the PC cup and it's beating me badly. Well, that's because the PC cup is set up differently. It does not use your dyno to set up the opponent to you. PC cups are set up with specific set times that the opponents run. Except when you get specific opponent differences, you may have a little margin of error there, like by a few hundreds or maybe a tenth or two. But bottom line is, each PC Cup race is a set time. That means you cannot use this tune to beat that unless your car actually runs faster than that time. You're not beating that particular challenge. So it's a completely different thing. You need to think about that challenge in a different way. That is a part dependent, upgrade dependent challenge. So no amount of tuning will help you if you don't have the parts. So PC cup, supply cup, completely different cups, completely different way they operate. So don't get them confused. All right, let me throw those Evo Epic Fusions on. Let's see the Evo difference, and let's see what differences those few epics make in the time. Alright, so now we're back. We put all the fusions in up to stage 5. And I'm going to now retune again. Again, you can't really do much with this, right? You could now because you have more power and grip combo. But if I move it back up here, it still seems to do better. That means you can also go this way a little bit. So you can do this first to see if that'll get you the highest Evo. 491 here. But then with this changed, you can now also try to go this way. Notice that we actually get a few more points now not being at 2.0. That gives you 13.86, which remember you were at 13.992. So those epic fusions did drop the time by about a tenth and 300ths. So a few epic fusions does make a difference in the time. So don't assume that it does not. With this card, though, I'll be honest, each individual fusion doesn't add much Evo points, and therefore the overall effects of these fusions are not as impressive as, say, on a T5 car, something that gets like 45, 50 evo per fusion, that's going to make a much bigger difference. So with this car, it's not the best example of the effects. But again, it still dropped the tenths just with epic fusions. And that could be the difference between you beating or not beating the PC Cup in some instances. All right, now, so we have changed the setup, but grip is still here. Final drive is not at 2.0, and we still can get a pretty high evo. That means even with full evo, the standard cliff drop should still be there. And again, it's probably going to be down here somewhere, maybe 15, 14, 12, right there. Okay, so it's still there. I'm not going to run it again. You already know what's going to happen. Let's take a look at the stage 6 effects real quick. This way you also get a grasp of what to look for stage 6s, or whether you're kind of screwed on stage 6s when you get to the PC Cup. Okay, I'm just going to run through these quickly, simply because we don't want to waste a lot of time here. So, engine baseline, remember, was a 491 evo that gave us a 1386. So we're starting off at 1386 at stage 5, and here's stage 6. This is with full fusion, and I'm not going to be able to spend a lot of time fine tuning, so I'm just going to tune it a little bit and see where I think it ends up. Pretty much about as good as it's going to get. So this is approximate. Okay, you could probably fine tune it for a little bit better results than what I'm getting. Okay, 535 is a little over 2/10 drop. You went from 1386 to a 1363, and that right there is engine. Let's move on. Turbo PP increase pretty high. I always like that PP. Somebody made fun of that on one video too. It is kind of childish, but still got a laugh out of me. All right, that actually looks like a decent increase. I'm surprised. Let's see if the times. Ooh, it's faster than engine. Okay, all right, and I didn't even tweak it yet. Not that I think I'm going to be able to tweak much, but faster than engine. There we go. Turbo shining brighter than engine this time. Oh yeah, here's another point, and 13.6 flat. Okay, probably can play with this a little bit too. Nope, not quite. All right, well, I'll take that 13.6 flat, which is a little bit faster than engine, and move on to intake. Ah, no. Don't want to waste that gold. Okay, here we go. Oh, looks like intake probably is going to come out right near turbo, or might even beat it. All right, so again, haven't tweaked the tune yet. Dyno is straight up. Oh no, it's a little bit slower. It's slower than engine too. So right now, intake is still the weakest, even though the Evo points look good. I guess it just didn't push as much performance as I had expected. Okay, 13668, we'll take that and run with it. Let's go to the next one. So these are all about a 2/10 drop so far. So 2/10, 2/10, 2/10 on these three stage 6s. Nitrous, that looks like a decent increase. That is also a decent increase over what the other three had. So this will definitely beat the other three. The question is, once I tune it, how much can it beat it by? Can it beat it by, say, a few tenths or just 1/10? I mean, that's a decent jump in Evo. Just 1/10. 13.52, so about a 3/10 drop. I had hoped to see more out of Nitrous. Usually tier 4 cars are more nitrous dependent, meaning you need a good nitrous setup to make it run good. In this case though, it doesn't look like that's really happening. Okay, 13.521, I'll take that and move on. body. That's a decent increase in performance points, or PP, as we like to say. And 549 without any fine tuning means it's right there with Nitrous. Not quite beating Nitrous though. It's kind of close, but not quite. So, alright, so far nobody beat Nitrous yet. Let's finish up the last stage 6s and let's see if anybody outperforms Nitrous here. Now, this increase in grip may trigger something of a drop in Evo rather than an increase, but it can be tuned out. You'll see that happens when you put extra grip on a car that's sensitive to grip, that sometimes you get a nice drop in Evo rather than increase. That usually means you just need to go the other way on grip, reducing it to allow it to get a little more speed going. Although this is not looking too great on the points. Let me see if I can get a little more. No, more aggressive isn't helping. 13.789, barely faster. Oh, actually, no, this is pretty slow. This one's worse than intake, actually. So this is dead bottom right now. So tire isn't what this car needs. Well, you always need a stage 6, but this is probably the worst one to get. Okay, let's see if transmission's going to come out on top or it's going to fall flat. All right. Oh, that's not looking good either. It's looking like Nitrous is still king, even though it's not a very big effect. It does have some decent effect. Okay, let's see. Trans. Come on, trans. Oh, you're killing me. Yeah, that Evo is telling me it's not going to be very impressive. Actually, close enough. All right, so here's the order of the stage 6s. I'm going to list them right here on the left here, and you can take a look at that. And that is the Bentayga. I'm not going to do more at this point on this video. I gave you the supply cup tune, and I gave you the stage 6 effects. And that is where I'm going to conclude this video. Thank you for watching the video. Please feel free to comment. And as always, if you like my videos, please subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications. As always, thank you for watching my videos, and I'll catch you next time.